Good morning, everybody. Be sure to take it easy on your morning commute. We have a dense fog advisory out. We'll have news and sports at the top of the hour when we return.
The National Weather Service in Binghamton has issued a dense fog advisory for the following counties in New York: Steuben, Schuyler, Yates, Seneca. Widespread fog will continue throughout the morning into early afternoon and may impact the morning commute. Visibilities of 1/4 mile or less. Locations in the impacted area include Corning, Bath, Hornell, Watkins Glen, Lodi, Odessa, Monter Falls, Kenyon, Dundee, Middlesex, Rushville, Bridgeport, Prattsburg, Pulteney, Wayland, and Cohocton. Motorists should slow down and take extra time to get to their destination.
Alright, we're back at the top of the news hour here, and we have an important message from the state police. The Interstate 86 between exits 43 and 45 have been shut down. Some kind of major accident. So again, make sure you're taking your time to get to work today, as we still have the dense fog advisory.
The National Weather Service in Binghamton has upgraded the dense fog advisory to a dense fog warning for the following counties in New York: Steuben, Schuyler, Yates, Seneca. Visibility from the dense fog has been reduced to 0. Motorists should avoid traveling on the roadway until the fog dissipates. Multiple law enforcement agencies are reporting accidents throughout the area due to the fog. Stay tuned to an OAA weather radio and local media outlets for further developments.
Alright, back here at the radio station. Cannot see a thing outside because the fog is getting so thick. National Weather Service just put out a dense fog warning, so if you're traveling, take it easy. If you're not traveling, stay off the roadways. There's a lot of accidents throughout the area. And, what is that? For viewers or listeners, there's some kind of sound coming from outside, and what is...
Civil danger warning. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the New York State Police. A large dense fog has overtaken the area, reducing visibility to 0. Additionally, there are unusual events occurring inside the fog. Residents are advising that they are hearing strange noises coming from outside. The New York State Police is also reporting that large animals are causing accidents on roadways. At this time, the New York State Police is asking all residents to remain home and not travel for any reason. The dense fog warning issued by the National Weather Service is in effect until further notice. Stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio and local news media outlets for further information on this developing situation. This is a required monthly test of the emergency alert system. The emergency alert system is designed to alert the public in assigned areas. If this had been an emergency, the emergency alert system will provide news and updates for your local area. This concludes the required monthly test of the emergency alert system. Civil danger warning. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. An unusual event is occurring in the Northeast. A large black fog has overtaken New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. The cause of this fog is unknown. However, it appears that this fog is continuing to spread. Law enforcement officials throughout the Northeast are reporting that there are hostile creatures in the fog, and there have been fatalities related to these creatures. Residents throughout the United States should be advised of this situation and be prepared if the black fog moves into your area. If a dense fog warning is issued for your area, you must take the following actions. If you are on a roadway, get to your home as soon as you can. If you are caught in the fog, lock your doors, shut off your vehicle, and cover yourself with a blanket. If you are at home, lock all windows and doors. Turn off all heating and ventilation systems. Turn off all lights, and turn your battery-powered radio down, so that you can still receive updates. These creatures have been known to enter homes, so you must be prepared for this possibility. Do not panic. Panic will only make the situation worse. Stay tuned to local media outlets for updates on this developing situation. I gave you and that's the I gave you and that's the I in the get was a enough guard. Snaps your name is Mr. Willis of us and the guy with self within it there gives you some new offer. We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. All broadcast stations shall transmit this emergency message. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in this national emergency. During this emergency, most stations will be on the air providing news and updates for your local area. This is KURB. We will continue to serve the Little Rock area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to a station providing news for your local area. Do not use the telephone. The telephone line must remain open for emergency use. The emergency alert system has been activated. An unusual and dangerous situation is occurring across the eastern seaboard. A dark fog that originated in the northeast has grown in size, and has now engulfed states as far west as North Dakota, and as far south as Florida. The origin of this fog is unknown. This fog reduces visibility down to zero, and there are humanoid-like creatures that are attacking residents. These creatures appear in the fog, and they can force their way into residences. This is an emergency action notification for the entire United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. It is unknown if the fog will stop expanding, but residents in the affected area must take precautions now to save your life. Close all windows and doors. Turn off all heating and ventilation systems. Barricade all entrances to your home with large objects. Any objects that can be used as weapons should be kept close to you in case your home is invaded by these creatures. Have a battery-powered radio for your stay in the shelter to receive news and updates on this dangerous situation. A representative for the President of the United States will be speaking on all stations soon.
Good evening, I'm Paul Johnson and I am speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. Earlier today, a dark and unusual fog overtook the Northeast and has brought devastating impacts. In this fog, there have been humanoid creatures that have been attacking our fellow citizens. The military and local law enforcement agencies have attempted to stop these creatures, but these creatures are impossible to see. These creatures only reveal themselves when they are within 3 feet of a person. We have consulted with scientists from both our nation and other nations. It appears that the Earth has entered into a dark dimension. We don't know for how long, or if the Earth will leave the dimension. Within the next 36 to 48 hours, the entire Earth will be covered in this black fog. The President is asking all Americans to stay strong and to fight to survive. We have endured many challenges throughout the course of our history. In the face of adversity, Americans will come out stronger.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. New information has come to light. When humanoid creatures are near, television shows and messages from the emergency alert system become reversed. It is believed that the cause of this is the TSUNAMI servers. Nuclear attack warning attack nuclear. The message following request transmitted being is house white. Am I who you are now? There are humanoids outside as I type this emergency message. I feel disease 1 5 24 37 56 74 missiles to hit beyond Washington, New York City, New Mexico, Texas, California maybe. What am I to do, except the light, feet heavy. Oh yeah, the nuclear attack warning who else? How about Denver, Buffalo, Portlandia, Angeles, Los, City of Kansas, Salad, Texas. Well, I've got to go. I'm going to catch some ZZZZZZZZZS while the humanoids eat my brains. Goodbye. Oh, one last thing. There are 1,000 nuclear missiles in the air. Good luck. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. Ignore the previous alert. New information has come to light about the humanoids. They have partial possessive abilities. The operator who sent the last message out was possessed by the humanoids. If you become possessed, you will have full awareness of what is going on, except you will not have any control over your body. Continue to follow all precautions issued in the emergency action notification. Stay tuned to local media outlets for updates on the situation. following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. Swarms of giant flying creatures have been attacking citizens in cities across the United States. The military is doing its best to handle the situation, but they are becoming overwhelmed. Additionally, the oceans and all forms of water have turned into a black liquid. Do not consume any water from open water sources such as a reservoir or from a lake, as it is unknown if the water is safe to drink. Citizens must take the following actions now. All large cities are being evacuated, and shelters have been set up. If you live in a large city, evacuate to a designated shelter. Take enough food and bottled water to last you for an undetermined amount of time. If you come into contact with humanoids, do everything you can to save your life. So far, lethal force from firearms has been effective at stopping the humanoids. Scientists across the world are continuing to solve this crisis, but this event may continue for some time. If you go missing, no one will be able to come looking for you. It is important that you travel in groups to prevent abduction or death. Once you have reached your designated shelter, the National Guard will provide you with information about dealing with this current threat. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information as it becomes available.
For those of joining us by television or radio, we have updated information to provide you. There is some good news and some bad news. The good news is that scientists have determined the cause of this event. A particle accelerator malfunctioned and caused a collision between the Earth and the dark dimension. Scientists are currently fixing it. But the bad news is that humanoids and the giant flying creatures may return to our dimension with us. Once the black fog has lifted, these creatures will be fully visible, and may become more hostile as it is unknown how they will react to light. If you are at a designated shelter, stay there until the National Guard can handle additional problems that may arise. If you are traveling right now, continue to your destination, but use caution, as we do not know when we will return to our dimension.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. The particle accelerator is now operating, and black fog is beginning to lift across the Earth. The Earth is returning to our regular dimension. The humanoid and giant flying creature threat is still an active threat as predicted, and they are more hostile now that they have been exposed to light. United States citizens are required to take the following actions. If you are in a designated shelter, do not leave unless you are requested to help the National Guard. Martial law is in effect until further notice. As the military deals with the humanoids and giant flying creatures, you will not receive assistance if you are caught in the open or abducted. Travelers must get to their destination and stay there. Any person who is possessed by the humanoids will be terminated. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. An unusual event is occurring on the coastlines. Residents have been observed walking into the oceans and returning in a possessed form. It is believed that the contamination of the oceans was done so by the humanoids, and it is now apparent that any contact with the water will result in complete possession. Giant flying creatures are now making nests on large buildings or in the forests. Humans are considered to be the creature's prey. If you are taken by these creatures, you will be fed to the young creatures. The population of the giant flying creatures, now being called frog flyers, is growing at a rapid rate. Humanity is facing an existential crisis. The government is now asking all residents to assist in the extermination of frog flyers and humanoids. The possessed do not appear hostile at this time, but it is unknown if they will become that way. The use of nuclear weapons has not been ruled out. However, this may make the problem worse. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information. following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. The possessed have now become hostile, and they are forcing non-possessed residents into the ocean. Possessed persons are also falling prey to fog flyers. This situation is now extremely deadly. New information from the military states that humanoids and fog flyers cannot survive in the desert or Arctic areas. An evacuation order to parts of Nevada, Arizona, and California is now in effect. Military escorts are being prepared for citizens that are still alive. It is estimated that 75% of the United States population has either died or become possessed. Now is the time to take action to save your life. If you do not follow military orders, you are risking your life. All citizens who do not evacuate will be left to defend themselves. Houses are no longer safe as humanoids are able to break in. Fog flyers are attracted to large steel buildings. Shelters are being set up in the desert, and possibly in parts of Alaska. Stay tuned to local media outlets for evacuation instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The United States government is launching nuclear missiles to all major cities except Las Vegas, Anchorage, Juneau, Phoenix, and Tucson. If you are not in one of the designated cities, you need to evacuate immediately. Nuclear missiles are expected to impact all major cities within the next 20 minutes. If you are attempting to evacuate and are caught near a nuclear explosion, take the following actions. Do not look at the bright flash of light from the bomb as you will go blind. Get on the ground, cover your head with your arms, and keep your mouth open to prevent the shockwave from blowing out your lungs. Nuclear fallout will also occur within 20 minutes of detonation, so it is important that you move away from the impact zone quickly in order to avoid the effects of radiation and third-degree burns. Stay tuned to shortwave radio for further information on this situation.
You are listening to NOAA Weather Radio All Hazards Station KEC 43 located in Anchorage, operating on a frequency of 162.550 MHz. This broadcast originates from the National Weather Service office in Anchorage and serves the Anchorage area and Kenai Peninsula. Here are the current conditions at Anchorage, Kenai, Soldotna, and vicinity. At Anchorage, it was mostly cloudy. The temperature was 52 degrees. Wind was light and variable. At Kenai, it was partly cloudy. The temperature was 55 degrees. Wind was light and variable. At Soldotna, it was partly cloudy. The temperature was 54 degrees. Wind was light and variable.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the National Weather Service. At 5:50 a.m., a no-weather plane in the Pacific detected an earthquake with an unknown magnitude. At this time, the following areas are under a tsunami warning: Anchorage, Juneau, Kenai Peninsula, and the Aleutian Islands. Take the following actions now. Move inland into higher ground. If you are at sea, get to a harbor as quickly as you can and head inland. A tsunami is a series of large waves, and the first wave may not be the biggest. A warning sign that a tsunami is near as water receding from the beach. Stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio for further updates.
The following is an urgent message from the National Weather Service. A tsunami warning is now in effect for all portions of Alaska, including the Anchorage area where Anchorage, Juneau, Kenai Peninsula, Aleutian Islands, when between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. impacts. Tsunami waves will move into the region following an earthquake in the Pacific Ocean. Wave height cannot be determined at this time. Residents in the impacted area should move inland into higher ground as soon as possible. A tsunami wave is near when the water near the beach begins to recede. The first tsunami wave may not be the largest.
following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. Tsunami waves have impacted the Anchorage area, and there is little to no damage. However, the tsunami waves brought in humanoids and possessed people. This is a dangerous and life-threatening situation. The National Guard has been deployed to handle the situation. A tsunami warning is still in effect. Residents should stay inland and on higher ground until the waves subside. If a humanoid or possessed person comes near you, you must do everything you can to defend yourself and those around you. Due to the warmer temperatures, the humanoids can't thrive in this climate. Stay tuned to the Anchorage radio station for further information on this developing situation. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. There have been reports that the black fog has returned and is moving into parts of Alaska. 70% of the residents have either been possessed, killed, or abducted by fog flyers. Humanity as we know it is coming to an end. If you are still alive, you must move closer to the Arctic Circle. Take as many supplies with you as you can. It appears that the Earth is returning to the dark dimension. This is the final activation of the emergency alert system. Do what you can to survive.
You will put us in eternity.